Why do I like animation so much? That seems like a fairly natural question to ask myself, considering that I've made over 50 videos discussing animation. And I enjoy all mediums. There's no medium that I just inherently write off, but I do, for some reason, prefer animation. A lot of other mediums feel out of reach, such as live action film, for example. You need a lot of equipment and a lot of people and a lot of money, all this stuff to make a live action film. And that's not to say that you'll need that for every live action film, but there are many restrictions placed upon you if you want to make a low budget live action film, and you need to work within those limitations. On the other side of that, though, you have novels, which, I mean, I've been reading since I was a little kid, just like I'm sure most of you have, if not all of you. My parents got me to read a half hour at least every day when I was a kid, and I usually read more than that because I enjoyed it, and I would power through books, and I still enjoy reading novels a lot. In fact, that's basically all that I'm studying in school right now. And I think because of that familiarity, it just feels kind of normal to me to write, and to read the writing. That's not to say that seeing a comic or seeing a really good book doesn't impress me. That can really get me excited. But it just feels normal and expected because I'm so used to it. But animation is, well, before we dive into animation, we should probably just talk about drawing. I've been drawing since I was a little kid as well. Just like I'm sure, again, most of you, if not all of you, did. But just like most of us, I kind of just stopped. And I'm not sure why. I love doing it. I would spend so much of my free time doodling and making these weird robot creatures that I still have pictures of. And I have no clue exactly when I stopped or why I stopped. But I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd kept going with that. Because I have so many ideas in my head that I wish I could put down onto a paper and have exist there, but I'm limited by my own capabilities because I gave up, or I just decided it wasn't all that important. So when I watch animation, even if the story's bad, even if the voice acting's off, even if I don't like the characters, there's just something exciting to me about the drawings, and that somebody could put all that time into it and make this thing that moves like this. It's amazing to me. It fascinates me. Because just thinking about the sheer amount of work and effort that could go into that is crazy. And effort and work go into other mediums, but animation's in this strange place where you can put anything on the page that comes to mind. All you need for the basics is a piece of paper and a pencil. And you can make an animation. And technically, the only thing limiting you is what's in your head and what your hand can do. And I get more impressed, I think, by things that I know I could do, but that I can't because I'm not good enough, because I didn't put the work in, because it takes so much effort, because you can see what has been poured into it just by looking at it. And I know this is a fairly basic thing. Of course, it takes a lot of work to do animation. Of course, it's impressive. But the real point here is that it feels within reach. Because I truly believe that any of us could, with enough time and with enough effort and with enough rigorous practice, learn to animate and learn to take these ideas that are in our head and put it onto the page in a manner that is visual and that other people can understand and take in. To me, images are less restrictive than words. That's not to say that there's no beauty in the written word or in language or in a novel or poetry or anything of that sort. But it's limiting in a way that I honestly don't think drawings or animation are. I mean, even with one of these simple drawings that I made when I was in grade 5, I don't even know how I would begin to describe this thing to you with words. I could probably get some approximation of it in your head, but I can't get you to picture this thing. The communication is broken somewhere along the line. And as you become more proficient with language, you can get closer to describing that image. But you can't ever get there. With animation, you can get there. And I guess watching this stuff, while it does fill me with a sense of wonder, it also, in a weird way, makes me think that I could do that I could draw that thing eventually, that I could make this, that I could present my ideas in a way that is pretty much unhindered by anything other than my technical ability and my imagination. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate that you made it all the way to the end, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Just last Sunday, I uploaded a video asking you fine subscribers if a Patreon sounded like a good idea, and overwhelmingly the response was, yeah, go for it. You might as well. So I set that up. If you enjoy my videos, I encourage you to consider supporting me there. There's some rewards there, some different things. There's a podcast that's going to be based entirely on patron suggestions for topics, getting access to some videos early, polls where you can vote for me to make certain videos to talk about certain shows, that sort of thing. Behind the scenes videos where I go through all this stuff, as well as just blog updates and posts about what I'm working on and where I'm taking the channel. So, as well as some other things. So, if you're interested in that, I do encourage you, please go check it out. But regardless of that, just thank you. Thank you for supporting me. I know not everyone has money, and even if you have money, maybe you think I still need to improve, or maybe you just don't want to spend it on this, and maybe you're just happy watching the videos, which is totally fine. So thank you, regardless of that. I really, really appreciate it. Your kind comments on the channel update video genuinely moved me, and I tried to express there to each of you how much that meant to me, but I'm not the most confident person sometimes, and reading all of your words of affirmation and um, reading your enthusiastic words, it was very moving, and I really, really appreciate it, and genuinely just thank you so much for that. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Link to the Patreon will be in the description. Bye-bye.